Hello and welcome everybody to today's webinar. The topic of today's webinar is your website a slacker? The value of integrated e-commerce and wholesale distribution. My name is Eric Levy. I'm the Director of Sales here at Meridian Business Services. We are a Oracle NetSuite reseller and implementer based out of Kansas City. Do a lot of work across the U.S., especially in distribution and light manufacturing with the NetSuite platform. I'll be talking more about today about trends in B2B e-commerce. So the topic of today's presentation is specifically regarding B2B e-commerce, the benefits of a unified platform, integrated e-commerce, ERP, inventory warehouse management, and one unified system. And then we're going to dive into a brief demonstration of NetSuite's unified platform and share a number of customer websites as well that are running on the platform to give you an idea of the rich capability set possible in a B2B e-commerce platform. So to set the stage, we really want to drive home this point, and it used to be in television and learned from many journalism classes that you never want to bury the lead. So I'm going to get out and just say this right off the bat, is that e-commerce is about more than shopping. It really is about customer experience. So a lot of times when I'm talking to organizations, especially in the B2B space, think of e-commerce in terms of the catalog and product content, checkout, search. But really, we look at it as a holistic approach to managing a relationship with a customer and setting the right expectations with a customer online. So everything from order management, inventory visibility, customer service and support, return handling, merchandising, marketing, customer-specific pricing, dealing with advanced tax and accounting, especially with the recent Supreme Court ruling regarding sales tax online, and then also having the technical support as well, hosting, load balancing, edge caching to really get the optimal speed. So we look at e-commerce as a strategy, not just a transaction. It really is about having tied together a 360-degree view of your customer, enabling them to interact with you anywhere, anytime, on any device. So providing them intelligence, providing them visibility into their orders, providing them, providing you flexibility and agility to expand your business. And this is all based on a single cloud-based platform. So studies, especially the Gartner study in 2017, have shown that 89% of companies compete on the basis of customer experience. Customer experience is key in today's world to winning. So it's not just about having a good sales team, and it's about showing value and creating a strong customer experience. In traditional B2B sales, we often found that customer experience was based primarily on the relationship with the sales team. Now that customer experience extends beyond the sales team. So the sales team is still very important, but it extends to their digital transactions with your customer as well. And so B2B customers want experiences like those found in the B2C world, oftentimes referred to as an Amazon-like shopping experience. We are seeing this more and more in the B2B space. And B2B customers want to feel empowered as well. They want to be able to find the information they want, whether it's off hours. They don't want to have to be reliant on calling their sales rep or calling customer service to request an invoice or a statement. So there really is a paradox. I found that in doing some research actually for today's webinar, I came across this statistic and found this absolutely fascinating, that 98% of B2B sellers value the importance of delivering a high-quality buying experience, one that's convenient, efficient, saves time for their buyers. So there's a great deal of value in providing that high-quality buying experience, but the same 98% of B2B sellers also face challenges in delivering a superior buying experience, especially as digital transformation is taking place across enterprises. So there's a big paradox there that organizations want to deliver a high-quality buying experience, but they're struggling with it. and the challenges that we see in implementing a world-class digital experience, and this is based on a study last year by Aptus. The top ones involve really technical issues, these top 4. All of these, involve technical resources, in-house expertise, the complexity of implementing and maintaining it, and then just a couple others here that I highlight as well, the length of implementation time and the high cost of implementation. So these are all areas that we commonly help in. When we look at the length of an implementation, we're looking at it for just the e-commerce portion, we're looking at anywhere from 30 to 90 days for a basic e-commerce site. With the ERP integrated along with CRM, typically we see a 4 to 7 month implementation cycle. It's no longer a year or more than a year implementation to stand up a full ERP system, replace your current landscape, integrated natively with a e-commerce platform. The other thing that I took away from this chart here is that these down here, these are really blockbuster thinking. And I'm not talking blockbuster isn't a great idea. I'm talking blockbuster as in blockbuster video that no longer exists. These are going the way that the buggy whip manufacturers, organizations that are following these paths, that think that digital commerce, digital interactions with their customers isn't important, or there's it lowers the ROI, because as we'll talk about later, customers just end up shifting. And the 2% down here, that's awesome. Good for you guys. It's not a very big crowd, though. So I mentioned this on the previous slide, and this is why organizations that aren't adopting a digital strategy and looking at digital transformation, we see possibility of going the way of the buggy whip manufacturer back at the turn of the century, and that is because customers' expectations are changing. They expect a world-class customer experience, both traditional and digital, from companies of all sizes. And so they want world-class e-commerce, really Amazon-like e-commerce, expecting real-time stock levels, confirmed delivery schedules, and the ability to call a customer service rep minutes after placing an order and add an extra line, or modify the order. And when an organization isn't able to provide that level of service, that's where the Google effect comes in. When customers' expectations aren't met, it's easy for a customer to Google what they're looking for and quickly find a new business. So when we talk about unified commerce, really we look at it as the customer is at the center. So tying together the front-end buying experience, whether it's from a web store, sales rep, mobile, customer service, with the back-end operational, from distribution, warehousing to manufacturing. And having all of that information in one unified platform. So it provides real-time access to the master records for customers, items, and orders on a single platform available from anywhere at any time. So when we look at the Customer 360, we're talking about the CRM records. We can see abandoned cart analytics right out of our CRM and ERP system. We can look at session analytics. We can build a quote for a customer and have them see it online instantaneously. We can add items to their cart if they want. On the Item 360, we're talking about no need for a separate PIM, a product information management system. All the product data is natively contained within the ERP system. And then on the order side, order orchestration, there's no disconnect between the e-commerce platform and the ERP and the warehouse. Everything is in one system so that data flows seamlessly through the system. And that's really key in today's world, is not only does that provide simplification. Remember the top 4 areas that we see are challenges with B2B e-commerce. A lot of those are around technology and integration. So having everything in one system takes a lot of that off the table. It simplifies it, and it also allows for creating a much greater customer service as well. So when we look at IDC is a third-party analyst firm, and when they did their mid-market cloud-based ERP vendor assessment, NetSuite was the clear leader. And not only is it the clear leader, it also has one of the biggest bubbles as well in terms of usage. So one of the reasons that they mentioned that NetSuite holds an edge over the competitors is that all the modules, so CRM, ERP, inventory, warehouse, e-commerce, all run in a single database and a single code base. So the software updates itself on a regular basis as well with new versions. No more becoming version locked because you're afraid to upgrade one system because it might break the integration with your e-commerce system or another system. And so that attribute alone provided quicker access to data relative to other solutions and easier, relatively seamless updates. Gartner and other, Gartner just released their quadrant, and NetSuite was in the leader, not just for mid-market financials, for all financial management systems. But not only is it a leader in the ERP and financial management space, it also is a leader in e-commerce as well. It's the, whoops, we'll go back to this for a second, as the Forrester wave here shows. So NetSuite was rated up there right next to Magento in terms of leaders. And the unique thing about this is that out of all of these other ones on the chart, NetSuite is the only one, their Suite Commerce Advanced platform for e-commerce is the only one that's natively integrated that is a part of the ERP system. So not only do you get a world-class ERP, but also a world-class e-commerce system, best-in-breed e-commerce, natively part of the system, which makes it much easier to stand up an e-commerce site and much easier to manage the data between the ERP and the e-commerce. So when we talk about optimizing, come back to your customer base wants to have that same buying experience that they're seeing in B2C in the B2B world. And ways that we help organizations do that is serving up a friendly, easy to navigate user experience, getting customers to what they want to find, and then providing a top-notch user experience. So a well-merchandised site in terms of HTTPS security, that is kind of a must in today's world. I still see a lot of e-commerce sites that only the checkout process is HTTPS. With the new Google Analytics and ranking, sites take a large SEO hit not having the entire site in HTTPS, which NetSuite e-commerce sites are natively all HTTPS. Just operational simplicity and mobile responsive. So we're going to look at some of these sites and talk through the details. But the bottom line is put yourself in your customer's shoes. Your website is currently difficult for you to navigate. How do you think it is for your customers? So the key features that we're seeing with B2B sites are, logging in and seeing specific items and specific prices to that customer. The same price that they would get if they called customer service or were talking to sales. Quantity and volume tiered pricing, product lists, placing an order on terms, and being able to view and pay invoices, which we'll come back and talk about in more detail as well. Request for quote, adding an item to a quote, order pad, or bulk ordering, and then converting a quote. Maybe the customer was talking to a sales rep, and the sales rep created a quote, and allowing the customer to go ahead and convert that quote to an order after gaining internal approval online. So the challenges that we commonly see with an organization trying to achieve that feature set with a disconnected e-commerce and ERP system is that the data is siloed. So product data maybe exists in two places, or well, it definitely exists in two places. Pricing data commonly exists in two places. Inventory, you have to have an integration that can be challenging to manage inventory, especially across multiple locations, and doing order fulfillment, determining the best location. Cross-channel returns, so somebody purchases online, wants to return in person become challenging because of the different systems. And then pricing and promotions are commonly channel specific. So in a single platform, it really alleviates those challenges because everything is in one data set, a unified platform, and don't have to worry about synchronizing the data or having integrations between those to synchronize the data. So all of the customer information, all of the inventory information is the exact same in ERP as it is in e-commerce because it's being pulled out of the same database. Returns can be accepted across any channel. If it was purchased online, return in person, at a counter sales, very easy to do. So when we talk about moving beyond e-commerce, moving beyond the transaction, it's important to recognize really the ease of customer use as well of interacting. So being able to manage billing, seeing outstanding balances, terms, being able to open invoices. And we'll take a deeper look at this in a demonstration. But really managing their relationship with your organization. And then offering convenient methods for payment as well. Such as, invoice billing with the opportunity to pay via ACH or credit card online. In terms of managing the customer experience, I've run into a lot of organizations that are looking to build really their own e-commerce platform, and especially in the B2B, because the challenges that they see with trying to adopt an out-of-the-box one. And adopt that to their business rules or customer-specific pricing, that type of thing, because it becomes challenging. So a lot of B2B organizations I find are developing their own e-commerce platform, but they really miss a large piece of it that then you can't customize that platform easily. So I think that's one of the benefits that NetSuite provides is the category landing pages, so specific to events, specific to seasonality, drag and drop content, merchandising zones, and then the ability to preview it on multiple devices. So talking once again about the customer experience, this is a example of, we'll take a look at the full site here shortly, of a paper distributor that sells a lot of B2B and B2C on their website. And I want to talk for a second about faceted navigation in terms of customer experience. So when we look at just this area, this is referred to as faceted navigation. Hopefully you can see on your screen the checkbox is there. So we could check one of these, as I'll show shortly, and it updates. We can check a facet, and it updates automatically the items that are showing here. And it will also update the other facets available if the other facets available don't match any items in that top facet. Excuse me. We can also sort by relevance, so really a modern browsing experience. And why I mentioned faceted navigation is that if a site offers faceted search, it typically results in 10 times as many non-targeted content pages viewed on the site than sites that don't, which ultimately results in more sales and happier customers. So when we talk about the benefits of an integrated ERP and e-commerce platform like NetSuite, especially one that's SaaS-based. So SaaS being software as a service, all hosted in the cloud. There's no hardware requirements. Don't have to have IT staff to manage the security or manage the systems. The uptime, 99.9% plus over the past 7 years. It's been running that I've seen lately about 99.99% on the real-time status update page, which is publicly visible, status.netsuite.com. They have continual platform updates, like I said, at a minimum 2 per year. Commonly, there's more platform updates as well to deliver the latest functionality, which is especially important in today's ever-changing e-commerce landscape. It's like the minute you set up a website, you take the time to build out a website, we're doing the custom building of it, it's already dated by the time you launch it. So it's the benefit of a platform like NetSuite is that you're always getting the latest functionality latest search functionality to provide speed, the latest caching to provide speed and improve user experience, which ultimately improves revenue as well. It's been shown that 1 second delay in page load times can result in 11% reduction in net sales from a site. I'll say that one more time because I think that's an important statistic. A 1 second delay in page load time can result in an 11-second reduction in sales from a site. The other thing that this does as well, having everything unified in one platform, is reduces the total cost of ownership. So when we look at companies that are running NetSuite for e-commerce, we've seen 2 times the industry growth rate, 50% less time spent on accounting and administrative functions associated with the order fulfillment, processing, and billing, an 80% reduction in website development costs as well. A few other benefits of the NetSuite platform is increased visibility, by having all the data in one system, improvement in day sales outstanding, and a reduction in financial close as well. So now that I hope I didn't kill anybody with death by PowerPoint. Now that we've gone through some of those PowerPoint slides, I'd like to just dive into the NetSuite platform and take a look at NetSuite's integrated approach to e-commerce. So hopefully you all can see my screen right now. And I should have mentioned in the beginning of our conversation, but if you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the chat window, and I will respond. I'll read those and respond accordingly during the conversation. So we are logged in. I got to this screen by going to netsuite.com. It is a role-based system, so there are various roles, including an e-commerce manager role. Right now I'm logged in as a senior executive, and so I wanted to just provide a quick overview of the NetSuite platform. So I can see my financials. I can actually drill into the financials all the way down to the transaction level right from my dashboard, so I can look at my sales. I can look at it by month. We had a really big sale, it looks like here. Actually, when we look at this sale here to Home Depot, we can look at our sales and drill all the way down to the invoice or transaction level from the dashboard on the data. So Rich, HR, and I can see that had some kind of a fee to Home Depot there in that case. Or, it could have been goods sold as well. As you'll see later on, I can have graphs on my dashboard. So we are going to use, in this case today, well, actually, why don't I switch over. Before I do that, one other thing I'll mention is that we can also see web, revenue and hits as well on our dashboard right here on our senior executive. So no disconnected, data sets for e-commerce. Everything is right out of the ERP system. So this is the underlying ERP system, but it also drives the e-commerce system as well. So when I log in as my e-commerce manager, I can switch over to, once again, I can see the data about my website, and I can find the customer, if I can type here, the customer record for Smith Supplies. And this is pulling up anything associated with Smith Supplies. I can also just preface that with the CU on front of it and just see Smith Supplies. Smith Supplies actually has multiple offices I can see here. We can use this for departmental views, so sub-customers essentially under the main customer. So we'll look at the customer Smith Supplies here. And the reason I want to look at the customer Smith Supplies is because we are actually going to be logging into a demo environment of the e-commerce platform as Smith Supplies. Before I do that, it might be better to actually show you, here's the demo environment. Before I log into that and go through the whole demonstration, why don't I just show you some out-of-the-box examples of organizations running NetSuite. I will try to get rid of that little drop down there from WebEx. Okay. So sustainable supply has a wide variety of supplies, both B2B and B2C. So we can drill in, let's say, to the electronics and appliances here. And here are my various, facets that I mentioned. So I can look at it by, brand. Let's say I want to find a adaptive microsystems. That is updating my search here. An interesting thing about SuiteCommerce Advanced is that it uses what's called single-page navigation. So when I make a change here, it's only updating this portion of the page right here. So we can also reduce the fastest made under $10. We can find just this item here. So we can search down to what we want. We have mega menus up here available, highly customized platform. One thing that they've rolled out that sustainable supply is similar to Amazon's subscribe and save model, where it's a monthly subscription of items at a reduced, at a discounted price. Once again, that's easy to do, and when we talk about process and business agility, having the integrated ERP and e-commerce system makes that much easier because it's only one system that you have to modify the workflow, and that workflow is already natively integrated. So easy to build out processes like that. Being able to do quote requests, track orders, and we'll look at that in more detail on some of the other sites and on the sample site. Here's another example on Greg Smith equipment. So we can click on the truck. They make commercial lifts for mechanics and home hobbyists, and we can, once again, here is our faceted navigation, just a different way to look at it. Doesn't have check marks, but I can look for a commercial grade 12,000 pound truck that maybe is a alignment lift. So I can add this to my cart. There it is, added to the cart. I can drill into the page. I can see different pictures of this. I can look at the specifications. All of these specifications, all this data is driven out of the underlying ERP system. So when we look at the item record, at this particular item record for the Atlas 412A, if we were to look at their actual environment, it would have all of this data. So no need for an additional PIM. All of the documents can be delivered out of their feature sets, as well as videos and other content as well. Let's see here. Another example that we'll look at here is Lindemann Chimney. So here's Lindemann Chimney. They sell chimney sweep and supplies, both B2B and B2C. So we can drill into chimney lines and pipes and look at their available items as well. So here's a different way of doing the faceted search, as well as they've implemented all right out of the box with NetSuite SuiteCommerce Advanced. Also, chat functionality as well can be integrated into the platform. They have a quick order, an order pad, or I commonly see reordering as well up here. The opportunity to sign up for a wholesale account, and commonly with a credit application as well. One other thing I'll mention is that this can feed right into NetSuite. So this can feed right to the sales manager's dashboard when somebody fills this out, and send a notification email as well. So no rekeying of that information in NetSuite. It natively goes right into the platform. We'll look at, I also like to just show some, this is actually a B2B and a B2C site. So when they show retail customers get, free shipping on orders over $50, they have retail, you have B2C and B2B using this. So a great looking, you know, customer-facing site here by Honey Stinger on the NetSuite platform. And then one other one that we'll look at before we look at the demo environment is Rally House, just another B2C that I think shows the depth of the platform. So this is a company that sells branded sporting goods apparel nationwide. So we'll look, I'm here in Kansas City, we'll look at Kansas City, so that's going to just take me to items that are associated with Kansas City. Another way to do facets here, so I'll look at men's large, and maybe I want a red t-shirt. So it's going to show me just the red t-shirts, and I can look at just under $20 and find this one here. So notice once again it's only updating this area here. It doesn't update the whole page, and that really comes back to the single page architecture for speed of load times. Now I want to dive into, as I mentioned, the actual demo environment to show you, to give you an idea. So Smith Supplies, here is the customer record in NetSuite. So NetSuite operates as an ERP system, as a CRM, and as an e-commerce platform, all together, all out of the box, natively integrated. So we have the ability to add custom fields very easily if we're logged in as the administrator to this record. You can see those right there. I'm going to hit edit so you can actually see the data entry on this particular record as well. We can see the contacts that are under this record. We can see sub-customers as well. I mentioned there's 2 offices, and then each of those have offices under them, so multi-tiered sub-customers. We can see any email that was sent, both automated messages, so we can see this message that was sent out of the system as the result of a sales order being placed or an order being fulfilled. We can also track phone calls as well to the customer and have files associated with the customer that are specific to that customer, such as a contract. You can have multiple addresses. The customer can actually manage these addresses, as we'll show out of the e-commerce platform here, and update automatically in the ERP and CRM system on the back end. All the sales data, so items purchased, data about items purchased. We can see the total quantity of their purchases. We can look at upsell items. So this is similar to when you're on Amazon site. Because you purchased this, you might be interested in this. But because this is in your cart, you should consider this. And so it looks at a correlation and provides upsell items throughout the buying experience as well, both in merchandising zones, which are zones on the web page, and then also through the sales process. Marketing can be tied in, so email marketing, we can see pages they visited right out of the platform here as a sales rep. So I don't have to be an e-commerce manager. I can see this as the sales rep. I can see cart contents, so once again, abandoned cart. Looks like they're about to buy a $1,000 AC unit and it was abandoned. So maybe it's worth calling out to them and seeing why that was. We also can do customer service and support, warranties, returns, etc. Manage all the financials of the customers to see the credit limit, the consolidated balances, manage shipping preferences with the customer. Another thing I'll mention about NetSuite is that it has a full audit trail. So any changes that were made either by the sales rep, by the customer, such as the customer can change their address through the e-commerce platform, are recorded here under the system notes in the audit trail. So who did it, when, where, is all recorded in the audit trail and is searchable and reportable. This is where we provide access. So we're providing access to the e-commerce system through Tim Smith. So let's say that Tim calls up, a sales rep or his, customer service rep. They don't have to log into a separate e-commerce system or open a ticket with the e-commerce manager. They can actually update the password right here and notify him that the password has been changed. So we're providing access to the e-commerce system through this tab. I'll switch over to an item record real quick, and I want to show the item record in NetSuite as well. So here's the item record for the Dell projector. So when I am on the website here and I click on the Dell 3400 MP projector, all of this information on this page is being derived from the item record on in NetSuite here on the NetSuite page. So we will click Edit to edit this item record. So not only do we have all of the inventory, visibility across multiple locations, pricing, demand planning or reorder points, vendors to purchase from, costing, manufacturing information, all on the item view. And we have tiered pricing. We have customer-specific pricing that's set on the customer record per item or per item group. Have accounting information. But for what's important about today's conversation is the e-commerce or the web store information we have here. So we can easily add fields to this record that can be exposed through the e-commerce platform. So we can add virtually as many fields as you'd like to the item record to store information like these specifications here. So the lifting height can be a custom field that you can add as well by going to Customize and New Field. Here, why don't I just show how easy that is to do that. So if we were doing we can add a list and we can add a new list record here. So we're going to call this field, well, just based on the atlas, we'll call it the lift height. Underscore there, and we can have a value of 2 feet, 5 feet, and 10 feet. We could also make this a text box. We're going to call the label lift height, and we're going to display this under the web store tab. Oops, we actually went on the sub tab. I was looking at the wrong thing there. We'll just go ahead and put it on the main tab here. And we can also make it globally searchable. So if you want to search it up here in the search bar, we can do that as well. And we'll save. So it's that easy to add a new field. It can be done by virtually anyone, very commonly done by the e-commerce manager to add data to the item record that can then be exposed on the e-commerce site here. I won't actually go through the process of exposing that on the site, but it is that easy to add this lift height field here, and then there's a little more work to go ahead and expose that. What I will show you though is that we can easily modify this page here right out of the ERP. So we'll just add this is the best projector ever. And I'm going to save this item record. And now when I hit, we'll let that, give that just a second to save. Now when I hit refresh, now it says this is the best projector ever. Now because I'm logged in, why don't I actually log out, and I'll show the login process as well. So I can log in, and I'm logging in as Tim Smith with Smith Supplies. So you saw on the Smith Supplies record where I provided access to Tim Smith to log into the system. There we sign in. And this is actually going to take us to our to our account management page. One thing I'll mention is you notice how fast the production sites ran that we looked at, the actual customer sites. The demonstration sites here are not fully optimized with caching, etc. So they don't run quite as fast as the customer-facing sites. What I want to point out here is when we log in, here's my account, so I can see my open sales orders. Whether this is one that was created by a sales rep or a customer service rep out of the ERP system, or created through eCommerce here, I can see the status. I can drill into, we'll open one of these orders. I can also see my account balance. So this customer, Smith Supplies, happens to be a big customer, and they have $1 million balance, $1 million terms, and only 50,000 of that is used. I can see my net terms are 60. I can print a statement here. I can see invoices. Like I said, we can also connect it to make a payment via ACH or credit card if you choose as well. So I can drill into the underlying invoice here. I also can go over to the order details. So here's the order details for sales order 807, and I can see it's pending billing. Here are my tracking numbers that were automatically added because NetSuite is integrated with UPS and FedEx and USPS out of the box. So all of the shipping information, not only does it calculate the shipping, but is also carried forward, and it is emailed to the customer, and it can also be seen here. We can create quotes. We can execute quotes right out of the system as well. So here's a quote that I previously created. Did want to come back to the item record here and talk about this for a second. So we have customer-specific pricing. So when we look at our item record, let's see here. When we look at our inventory item record here at the pricing, this customer has, like I mentioned, they're a large customer. They have a 15% discount, so their tiered pricing is carried forward natively to the ERP or to the e-commerce side. So if I were to close out that, if I were to update this number here to 775, we will see that carry forward as well. On the, we can add it to our cart, which I've already added some items to the cart as well. Like I said, we can modify our shipping information or our billing address that automatically updates in the ERP system as well. Another thing, we can manage returns out of the system also, so and reorders. So if we're looking at the order history here, I can request a return from the order details, or I can reorder the item as well. And we can request a return from that purchase, and view return requests as well. So that really summarizes the benefits of having an integrated e-commerce and ERP platform, having everything in one system, being able to share that data between the two. Really appreciate everybody joining us today. Our next webinar is coming up next month, July 17th, and the webinar topic is the great debate, integrated versus multiple apps to run your business operations. It'll take place once again Tuesday, July 17th at 11 a.m. Central, and hope you can join us. Please feel free to reach out to me with any questions about today's webinar or questions about Meridian services or the value that NetSuite can provide to your organization. My email is sales@meridianbusiness.com, and telephone number is 1-866-561-1484. Once again, very much appreciate everybody's time today, and hope you have a great rest of your day.